Oh, hi.
Oh, hi.
Hello,
Ohio.
friends.
Hi,
There's-
we're Way of the Leaf, minus the founders of Way of the Leaf.
That is the leaf.
Because Ryan is enjoying real life today, and where Brother Dan is having some technical issues. So I'm Beth, and this is everybody else. Introduce yourselves, everybody. Jansen, your
mic-
audio is crapped. Take two.
I'm back.
There he is.
I'm Jansen Lashley Haynes.
I'm Tom DeSimone from Dragonmount, and also occasionally a puppet here on Way of the Leaf.
I am Guadalupe Ramirez, also known as Taviran Tavern of the Wheel and Chill Show and Taviran Arcade.
So today, you know what, guys? I know a little bit of what we're doing mostly, so I'm going to open some of it up. We're talking about some of the powers in the Wheel of Time today, and there are a lot of different ones that people use that are different from just saidin and saidar. Although we are going to talk about those today too, and some of the effects that they have on each other and everything else in Ranland and all of the books from the Wheel of Time. We want to tell everyone that this is a full spoiler alert. We are going to talk about everything from the very beginning of An Open Road in The Eye of the World all the way to after.
It's a puppet.
There's a puppet.
You guys want to hear? You guys want to hear a puppet cuss very much and very loudly?
You like yell out like dirty socks and dirty underwear. How do you cuss?
Oh my god! No, oh no! My curses are rich and vibrant.
And verbose.
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 I like that.
Full
So
of verbiosity.
He is a cunning linguist. I did hear that about him.
You know what? I was a cunning linguist for real.
I bet.
what do you mean was?
Same.
안녕하세요. 어떠세요?
Sí,
Hola,
no
¿cómo
empieza a hablar
está?
mierda, popeta, porque si no vamos a tener problemas.
Yo entiendo español también.
I know that you do. That was
Okay,
for
sorry.
El Popeta.
I derailed the conversation. I apologize. We shall get back on track.
I know words in Spanish and Italian. I can't speak it, but I understand when other people speak it, if that makes sense.
I'm kind of the opposite. I can speak it better than I can understand it. If someone speaks to me, it's way too fast.
I grew up
know,
around people speaking.
Yeah, I didn't have like I wasn't immersed and I didn't have like that listening lab where people had headphones and they,
We used to call that hooked on phonics for when I was a kid.
I didn't have it.
You didn't have it?
No. Hey,
I had
I had it.
I had it in the LP version.
Oh no. Oh no, that sucks.
I am going through difficulties with my internet, so if I bounce out, I apologize. Hopefully this will run smoothly, though. I just went and kicked it like the dog it is, so hopefully my router's going to behave.
Well,
I
you don't
thought
sound
you
like
were
a
a
robot anymore.
pacifist. Why are you kicking dogs?
No, I kick router dogs. I kick
Okay.
routers like the dogs they are. It's
Wow.
complicated.
There's that
So anyways.
verbosity.
Yeah.
There's that verbiosity, right?
Golly, my fist shook so aggressively to the sky. I was like Rand in the Gathering Storm outside of the manor, like just all.
Grab that lightning by the bolt.
Bolt.
Jansen and Beth, hello, welcome. Thank you always for joining us. We have Tom, we have Taviran Tavern, Tom DeSimone from Dragonmount, of course. Taviran Tavern from his Wheel and Chill, I guess, is probably the most
Yes.
prevalent, right?
Yes, sir.
And we're going to talk a little metaphysics. We're going to go a little deep. We're going to figure out what this magic power actually is, shall we?
Sure.
So Wheel of Time is rightfully known and lauded for its magic system. Robert Jordan created quite the inventive way of doing things with saidin and saidar, dividing them between the genders and also having limitations on them, either through the taint, through the Othron, through other means, but we want to talk about the magic itself. So the when I go onto the fandom, the whatfandom.com, the one power, it says, there's the quote from Moraine where it says, the one power comes from the true source, the driving force of creation, the force the creator made to turn the wheel of time. saidin, the male half of the true source, and saidar, the female half, work against each other and at the same time together to provide that force. saidin is fouled by the touch of the Dark One, like water on a thin slick of rancid oil floating on top. The water is still pure, but it cannot be touched, blah, blah, blah. The true source cannot be used up any more than a river can be used up by the wheel of the mill. The source is the river, the Aes Sedai, the water wheel. The one power emanates from the true source. So let's, I guess, get into that a tiny bit. Let's go top down. True source. Is this... It said that this is what drives the wheel. So what do you guys think about when you think of the true source? Do you think of the creator? Do you think of something else? What is your thought when I say the true source in regards to the one power?
Are you asking for like just opinion?
Yeah. I mean, yes. But your opinion is probably educated. So, but
I'll let chat decide that.
Let's start with you, Beth. When I say the true source, what goes through your head?
So, as a person who pictures things, I literally picture almost like a celestial churning pool that's kind of like running through and around the wheel, and like its movement triggers the wheel to move. That's like how I picture it in my head, like almost like miasma is not like a dark word, but kind of like just like this celestial looking, not a blob, but a, like, I can't explain it.
Right.
It's a picture in my brain.
In that picture, you have an actual wheel, correct?
Yeah. Well, because I visualize things, so I picture almost like a wheel, like like on a side of a mill in the 1800s, the water wheel that would power a mill, like a lumber mill or something. That's almost what I picture in my head. Of course, much more ornate and much prettier.
Jansen, when I say true source, what comes to your head?
I think of like positive and negative energy charges.
Protons and electrons?
Well, it's they say that like the whole wheel of time is like powered by the true source of like, you know, masculine and saidin and saidar making each other do different things by pushing and pulling. And I think Rand showed that when he cleansed the source with Nynaeve, with the Cho'odon Call, he used it against each other to funnel it through and clean it. You know, and use the positive and negative charges to make it move, almost like, you know, positive and negative magnet, like kinds of you know, pushing it. So he moved it through like that. So that's what I think of when I think of the source, because I think of a force.
Okay, Tom, let me ask you, piggybacking off Jansen. So if there is this saidin and saidar were both used to cleanse saidin, does the true source know that this was changed? Does it? What was it?
I don't think the true source, the one power, the true source, saidin, saidar are aware in the sense of like any kind of construct could be aware like that. Like I have a pet theory that the wheel of time itself, like the pattern is aware, like the pattern can think, but that's also because of my pet theory of the creator having unmade themselves to make the one power and the pattern and existence, which is really that's in my vision of what the building off of what Jansen said and what everyone said, because it kind of all goes together, is like basically the one power, both side and side are kind of like rivers flowing off of the creator. So like if there was a visual representation, it would be like the center of the universe, and it would be like the Big Bang was when the creator unmade themselves to give reality, being. And from there is where sighting and side art flow from. And then when I started, like, as I got older and I started reading about like string theory and things like that, is where I started putting like the one power in the same vein as gravity, where like they think gravity can bleed over to different universes. And when we see like them use the portal stones, we learn that the one power is the same in all the universes. And there are things that cross over all the different planes of existence in the Wheel of Time. So I always kind of played with it as a physics type of thing because Robert Jordan was a physicist. So
okay, that's a
You
good answer.
totally
I like-
blew my mind.
Yeah.
You totally blew my mind, and I love it.
you're welcome.
The creator unmade themselves.
Yeah, I mean, like you don't
To
see the creator ever.
Power the wheel.
Hmm. And the
I
creator's power is what made it.
Freaking love that so much.
Yeah, I do want to put a pin in that.
Yes,
and
we'll
I
put a
want
pin in
to
it.
Yeah,
let me put a pin
That's
because I'm
related.
getting
That's
back to
related.
that. But
we're talking about
Tavarin,
Yeah.
when I mentioned the true source, like what metaphysically is going through your head?
So I picture the true source, the male half, the female half, all of that stuff as like basically like the Earth's magnetic field, and also the electromagnetic composition of the planet, right? So I think that the female half of the source is the energy that's closer to the core, where the male half is like the outer edge of that same energy. I don't think it's different energy. I just think it's where it sits, right? And then the taint that's sitting on top of that is basically the cosmic rays, right? That are hitting radiation, hitting the outer bands, and that's why it makes it more chaotic. So I mean, I guess it comes down to what a lot of people would think in the magic or the fantasy world as ley lines, magic powers and locations and stuff like that. I still think that's the same kind of thing. But I think that the male and the females in the Wheel of Time are pulling from different depths of the same stream.
Well, first of all, I was thinking about this a lot this weekend. I was up north, and this was the sky.
The taint.
During the north.
That's the taint.
And so just seeing
But it's
these
so pretty.
invisible,
It's so pretty.
yeah, these little like these shimmering waves, and just knowing that we are being like bombarded by an electromagnetic storm, and this is just a visual byproduct of this. It had me thinking that the true source might be something like space-time itself, and the wheel is time and gravity. I mean,
they go into the multiverse like very, very quickly into the Wheel of Time. Like what's that in the Great Hunt? As soon as him and Rand and Huron and Loyal go to sleep on the stone, they go into an alternate reality of like the actual, where they're from. And Loyal talks about it, about the infinite, realities for every choice that someone makes, and tells us about it. And he had read about it, and even then it goes into Lanfear talking about it too.
that's a very good point.
I like how they in the portal worlds too, how Celine at the time says that the further you get away from the truth, like from the reality of the real world, the weaker the world gets. So it's almost like if people have watched like Loki or any of the new Marvel stuff, how there's like a true timeline, and then there's the alternate timelines. And as you get further away from what's happening on the true timeline, the world gets less.
They call it the sacred timeline.
Yeah, the sacred timeline in Marvel. it gets less like tangible and like, you know, more weak and prone to like collapsing and stuff like that.
Yep.
Okay. Well, okay.
See, I think in the Wheel of Time, the way that they've done it is the true way, you know. But the reason why, you know, Marvel and all those other people do it is so they can make more money. And it's
Yeah,
always,
well,
you know, they can hire more writers to make more comic books. And
most of Robert Jordan's theories and like world building, especially in the metaphysics of like the One Power and things, are based in actual metaphysics because of his background. So that's like, obviously they're not, but like, you know, he uses theories and mathematics and things like that, a formula for building the One Power and Saidin and Saidar in similar ways.
Well, all right, so let's dig a little bit deeper. And I don't want to get into Saidin and Saidar quite yet. Let's stick with the true power.
I hear clicky clacky keyboard keys.
Oh, sorry,
by the way.
that's me.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah, just maybe if you're gonna type, but that's fine.
Yeah.
The true power is different than the One Power. The One Power is what we all know. Saidin, Saidar, lots of people can do it. The true power, it reads, according to Gideon, only 29 people have been granted access to the true power. It also says that the
Who
true
grants
power
the access, though?
Well, that's what it's saying. It says it was identified. It was believed to be a unified power source identified by researchers at the Column Daw as a possible alternative
the
to the
wording
One
there
Power.
is very, very important, and I'm going to tell you my theory why.
Here, let me just define it real fast. So the true power is a source of energy similar to the One Power, but which finds its source in the Dark One rather than the force that drives the Wheel of Time itself. It is not differentiated into male and female halves, which work constantly with and against each other, but rather as one reservoir of power that is available to members of either sex. The true power is only available to channelers whom the Dark One or the Great Lord allowed to wield it.
So before, I just want to build off of what you said because it ties right back to the thing I said before. The true power comes from the Dark One. The One Power comes from the Creator. The Dark One left it together because he doesn't care if people vie for control over this power, you know, and things like that, because he wants them to do that. Where the Creator split it so that he forces people to work together because he wants people to work together. I say he, but you know, they, whatever. Where the Creator wants people to work together, so he split it. So, and working together makes the best results with the One Power. So it's, there's layers. I have a lot of layers to this.
You okay, Beth?
Yeah, Beth, does it make sense
Okay.
then that the Dark One could taint Saidin?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you
To me,
consider
it seems weird.
if you consider the fact that the Creator, I'm latching on to Tom's theory here so hard right
please.
now. Like,
Yes.
I'm suckling at the breast of
Hey, now.
knowledge or
Suckle away.
theory crafting or
Suckle
whatever.
away.
Excuse me for the graphic. But the thought of these two cosmic entities, right? Balancing them each other in a way, right? And one of them giving up like sentience and cognitive ability to in perpetuity assist in combating the big bad, but the big bad is greedy and selfish and narcissist and would never be that selfless to give up their sense of self. I love it. Tom.
But the concept of the big bad or the Great Lord or the Dark One is weird. If we have the Creator that has disassembled itself for time and space to continue, as I think of it, we have a Dark One that is pretty involved in Ranland. We hear that the Chosen are going and meeting with him.
Well, that's known. That's fact.
Yes, but this is okay. So if this is a being that unleashes the true power, that has these abilities.
He doesn't
to me,
unleash it. He allows it to be tapped into.
which
doesn't
which
unleash
he
it.
manifests them. It is from him, correct, or it, right?
It's the tangible evidence essence of his existence. Kind
Well,
of.
I have a theory about the true power.
Talk to me, Jansen.
About it now.
Okay.
I think what Rand actually did to the true power, I think Rand tainted the true power with the light, and that's what he's using now.
He counterstroked the
Yeah.
counterstroker?
Yes.
So when you're talking about when he was cleansing the taint, he just spun it around.
And he lit his pipe without using the one power.
We're getting way ahead, though. We're
Yeah,
starting
yeah.
at the beginning now, aren't we?
No, this is good. We're
This
going
is-
big
okay,
and then
okay.
going.
I thought we were
yeah,
going
no, we're
like
fine.
okay.
We're talking true power. We're talking power.
So
Magic.
I have a question, right?
Yes.
Shoot.
I get that it was the men that tried to put the Dark One, that tried to seal the Dark One in the bore, and that he tainted the male half of the source. Do we know if he had access to the female half of the source? Because I would see as the chosen and the Dark One, they would combine, would make the true source.
He said to Rand in his head that he didn't.
He did not have right, so he could only taint the male half of the source.
Yeah.
Because the 100 companions were all men.
Yeah, there were only men at the ceiling of the bore.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So but you would think that he would have access to all the sources as the Dark One.
No.
No, he only had access to it because it was being laid basically vulnerable to him because Luthen was using it at him.
Right, but
And it was the way that they were using
so
it.
the Dark One doesn't have access to the source at all. Of any true source, Satan, Sidon, none of it.
No.
That's why he has to have the chosen who are
Why-
human beings, who are people who have the capacity to do it on his
I have
behalf.
to go back and read that because for whatever reason it wasn't sinking in on me.
Well, and then Summer, and what was that? What chapter when she died? What was that? The last that could be done. She said to herself, other people have said it though, that whatever the creator could make, the Dark One could destroy.
Can I I'm gonna blow Beth's mind again.
By all means.
Plug your ears, Beth. I don't want your brain getting all over your room.
So-
Need no Bethgasms happening.
So the true power, like the Dark One's power, and the Dark One is the corpse of the creator. Basically, the true power is what the power was. It was one singular power that everyone can manifest, and then when the Dark One, when the creator unmade themselves, they made existence. The Dark One wants to destroy existence, therefore gaining his power back so that he could be the creator again. But it's because that's just mechanically what they do. Like, they unmade themselves, sealed themselves behind the shield at the moment of creation, so that now creation is out there. I'm back here. I won't fuck anything up. And now here we are. Because everyone always asks, and the stock easy answer, and not that this theory doesn't have flaws, because there's lots of flaws, but
Yeah.
the stock easy answer of why did the creator create the Dark One if they created everything? And it's because, you need to have the balance to the light and blah, blah, blah. But I like this one better because it answers a lot more questions. Like this one thing can answer a lot of questions where that only answers the one.
So which one is the superior power then?
There isn't.
There isn't. The entire Aes Sedai symbol says everything.
Yeah.
For everything. And there's a yin and there's a yang, and the wheel
For the one power.
Yeah, and Moraine even tells Rand when she comes back, tells everybody the wheel will have balance. It will have balance.
And the wheel is bigger than Sidene and Sidar.
But is
the true power.
Is the wheel bigger
Right.
than the creator?
Yeah, because it was the creator.
So then the wheel will have balance. So then there is no better. Yeah. So the wheel will have balance.
It's another kind. I'm not 100% a fan of like the wheel always being able to obtain balance, whether it wants it or not, because then it's like, oh well, everything's irrelevant then because everything will just
That's
work
why
out. in the end.
Taviran are Taviran, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like I like the wheel will always seek balance, but that doesn't that doesn't say like it'll definitely get it. Like it may fail because of the Dark One influencing it, or whatever.
Is
The forces
so
of shadow.
is it this balance then that leads to the true power having the insanity aspect to it? I don't understand why Saw and why men go mad if they use it too much.
They don't.
Well, that's what it suggests, at least in here. It says that with the Saw appears in the eyes of the habitual user, increasing over time. Eventually, Saw spreads to color them completely black, at which point it is believed that the channeler would become totally and irreversibly insane. At least in this wiki. So
Yeah,
I'm not saying that that's
believed.
true, but
Yeah, I mean, even in the wiki, it says it is believed. So like, and the only instance. So I'm always a believe what you see, not what you hear. Either it doesn't matter who it's from or where it's written in the Wheel of Time. So believe what you see and not what you hear. So every single person that's used the true power in the Wheel of Time has not come out mad necessarily from the true power. They've come out corrupted maybe a little bit.
Yeah, but there's all different kinds of madness.
Yeah. Well, like you would think. Well, what did it say? Completely insane. Is that what it said?
I'm sorry. Say it one more time.
What was written in the thing? It said
eventually the Saw spreads across one's entire eyes to color them completely black, at which point it is believed that the channeler would become totally and irreversibly insane.
Insane. Okay, yeah. But see now like that could easily just be someone saying, "Oh, look, this horrible person has been using this power, and now they're just indiscriminately killing people."
But the Forsaken seem aware of the
that's what I'm
dangers
saying.
of overuse as well, though.
Well, you need direct connection with the Dark One. That's dangerous in and of itself. And when you're using his power, it would stand to reason that he could probably at that point directly influence you as well. So that's probably also where it's dangerous.
Asmodean could not have used the true power
because he was severed. Yeah.
Off.
Yeah, because he was severed from it. Yeah, that physical connection that we see to the Forsaken is the umbilical cord, is what they usually refer
That's
to.
why Asmodean freaked out the way he did when
he was
Rand cut the cord before
buffered.
he killed him. Right? That was
Yeah.
like the no.
Yeah,
And-
he specifically calls it. He specifically calls it his buffer too.
Yep.
Yeah, well, he says, and then he tells her, you don't know what he's done. And tells that to Lanfear, and then he tells her that he cut her off.
So when we talk about the creator, we do have the Snokomi, Tom, and we do have voices that are capitalized in italics. We do have instances where it seems like a creator does have some involvement. Do you think that's the case then, or what?
So for book one, it's tough because we know that Robert Jordan retconned a lot from book one, namely being that voice that we hear from the creator. He doesn't want to use it really anymore. And we only really hear it again one other time. A voice that seems to be in all caps, and it may not be the Dark One, but we're not entirely sure. Though the Nakomi thing, I like the idea of there's, like where Shadar Haran is kind of like the avatar or the voice in, if people are fans of like Lord of the Rings, we have the voice of Sauron, where it's not Sauron but it's like a megaphone for his ability, where this could be similar, like a remnant of the consciousness that was the creator can give these gifts to somebody to help be the avatar of the creator on the world, to balance out the fact that there's also one for the Dark One. Mm-hmm. It's also telling that we don't see her until Shadar Haran takes more of a presence like on the field. Like Shader Haran starts to do more things actively in the world instead of just pulling strings in the background, and that's kind of when we see Nakomi.
That's
Okay.
fair. Makes sense.
When's the when we see,
Go ahead, Jansen.
When do we see Shadowhound for the first time?
I
think-
think
Isn't it-
it's
Book
Go ahead.
6
With
Yeah,
Mo-
in the
Mogami?
prologue when
Is it
no
with
when
Mogami?
Demandred, isn't it? When he's going to the
Mhm.
boar.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
because
he's
that's
the
coming, right.
because he's the Murdral that meets him and is supposed to escort him into the boar, and then he starts talking to him, and then he kind of realizes that this is more than right.
Yeah, and he makes a joke,
Mhm.
and he's bigger than the other Murdral, and da da da, and he's defiant to
When do we
him.
see Shadowhound in the woods burning? When do we see him in the woods?
Is that when he's- Wait, is that part of the whole box thing with the Shido?
Yeah.
That's book 8, isn't it?
Yeah, but we see him way before that.
Yeah, it's in. Well, because then he appears to Alviarin when she's in
Mhm.
the tower. He appears to Masana and does those horrible things, but I think that's later in
Yeah.
the series, right? Yeah.
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 Horrific. Oh my god, worst nightmare.
Oh yeah, Robert, like the people that don't say like that there's not violence and things like that in the Wheel
The
of
Wheel of
Time,
Time
like,
could definitely be put in grimdark category.
Oh,
It
yeah.
really could
It's
easily.
got some spots in it for sure.
I mean, it
Yeah.
starts off with them killing children.
Yeah, I can't wait. I really hope Sanaa Hamri comes back when they go to Sheol Ghul and when Shadar Haran comes on. That's the director that specializes in like horror stuff. She did a bunch of episodes this season as a director and as a writer. She co-wrote on a lot of the episodes, and you can
Nice.
really tell.
Very cool.
Mm. All right. So true power, one power. Let's, I guess, get into the one power and get into Saidin and Saidar a little bit. There are people that are born with spark, people that are wilders. The population is, Tom, what is the population that can channel? Do you know?
I think it's like 3%.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the pattern allows 3% of people to channel. And the channeling is, there's not an instruction manual. This is a little bit like The Greatest American Hero, where he found the suit and doesn't quite know how to use it.
Love that show.
Hard to believe I'm walking on air. I never thought I could feel so free. Light away
Being one of my favorite.
Say again, Jensen.
I said
Sorry.
he went on to play in one of my favorite movies. If you've never seen this movie, it's called A Man from Earth.
I love
yeah.
that movie. I love
That's
that
good.
movie.
It is a fantastic,
Yeah.
and it's a great, it's a masterclass in acting too. Because they're only
Absolutely.
it's great.
There's like 7 people. They're in 2 rooms. What's my boy's name? The guy from Candyman is in it.
Oh, I know
Oh,
Tony Todd.
Tony Todd. Yes.
I'm so
Yeah.
jealous. I love him so much. He's so great. He's a great actor.
He's great. He's totally great.
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
great. So there.
Go ahead, Dan. Get back on track.
So
Sorry.
Sorry,
that's
Brother
fine.
Dan. Sorry.
That's fine. So as we read, people start to learn more and more about the one power. Is there limits that? Do you think that if we had true knowledge of the one power, like we could just fly, we could time travel, we could do anything?
Nynaeve
Mm.
believes that you can do anything besides resurrect the dead, and I actually think you probably could resurrect the dead.
Well, you can with the true power apparently. So why not
Yeah,
with the one
true.
power if you have the knowledge, right?
Exactly.
So like here's some things that we know. Like these are things that we know. The one power is tied to genetics in some way, and it's tied to the soul in some way. Like the ability to channel is tied both to genetics and to the soul in some way. We don't know exactly how, but Robert Jordan has said both of those things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of evident in the books in that they talk about how there's less and less channelers now because they're killing the men who can channel most often, and gentling them, and in turn they die. Probably don't also want to have sex and have kids. So there's less and less channelers in the world. And since the Aes Sedai are kind of secluding themselves, and I was saying seclude and cloister in the same.
Yes.
You know what? I love that. That's sexy.
Cloistered. You've been cloistered.
That it was going away. So like the idea of the one power kind of becoming less and more prevalent is all tied to that. But the strength and the ability and the different talents to do things are tied to the individual. So like some people, and this is more of a theory, but it's kind of like a confirmed theory, because like we don't get it directly set out, but we see people, channelers specifically, that have channeling specific talents.
Yes.
That can only do things that they can do because of abilities that they have that are just innate abilities, which is the similar thing like when you talk about people that just have talent at basketball or football or soccer or whatever it is, that they don't need training, they don't need to do anything, it just comes naturally to them. And that's like oh shit, my boy and his name it's an A and it's gone, Andril, with the way with traveling and the Waygates. Like he should not be strong, he is not strong enough by sheer power level to be able to make a Waygate, but he can make Waygates 10 times the size of anyone else, and also tiny little ones, and move them around and do things that everyone was like, you can't do with Waygate. So
use them to superbly cut leather and all kinds of just
right.
So
And
all right.
key.
So going off of what Tom just said, right? I tend to agree that yes, and we've seen it again, time and time again, that each individual who can channel has a very specific talent, right? I tend to think it's not only just that they have a specific talent. I think it has to do a lot to do with their environment, how they're brought up, how they think, and not just that they're stronger with earth or stronger with water. It's how they. I think it has to do more with how they think, right? And so we talked about this when we did the tour of the Wheel of Time, and we were talking about Manetheren, and I said I felt that Manetheren was a like a giant vault of Aes Sedai and people that could channel because it was in the ground. Like it went like he said, it was genetic. Manetheren was extremely strong, and that's why we had 5 Ta'veren and why so many people could channel in the 2 rivers. So by the time we see the girls not only learning from the Forsaken, but coming up with their own stuff and how to separate, they were already thinking outside the box, right? And they were thinking outside the box because they were sent away from the tower. At this point in the books, the tower, they keep saying, this is how we do it. Like they never thought of channeling to heal with all 5 elements because it was always taught to be with this and this. And they didn't want to stray from that. So it's basically outside of the box thinking that opens things up because they weren't raised and they weren't like truly trained in the tower. Look at Egwene. Egwene, we had the tower, we had the wise ones, her time alone with Elaine and Nynaeve to figure out how to do things on their own. So yeah, I mean, there is genetics, but the fact that they can do certain things all comes down to how they think, how their thought processes work. In my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, and the genetic factor is, gosh, another weirdness. I mean, it is. I tie that in my head to the alternate universes type thing.
There's one other thing you guys aren't thinking about, though.
Oh, go ahead.
The genetic factor has some, meaning and stuff to it, but like, culling and things like that, even the genetic factor don't really mean much in a world where the souls are reborn. Those souls aren't reborn into the same genetics every time. We don't know that, and there's no time limit on how long it takes a soul to be reborn. So the culling doesn't make much sense, right? because if a soul dies, it will be reborn again, and that soul that can channel will be able to channel again. Because one thing we do know is that the souls that can't channel can't be reborn to channel.
Well, Jansen, don't we assume that we're
Ish.
having some special children being born out of the bonding and the unions between male and female channelers?
Yeah, I agree with you. When the souls are alive, genetics does have meaning, but once they're dead, it doesn't. You know, those souls are reborn.
There's instances of like the only aspect that we get of someone talking about this is Brigitte. So like we only have one thing of someone saying, I remember all of my past lives, and in none of them
talking about transmigration.
Yeah, but that's a theory of hers. She didn't experience it.
No, remember when she's sitting with Moradin in Moradin's what's it called, vacuole?
Yeah.
And she starts talking to herself. You get her POV about who Moradin was, who Lanfear was, and she talks about how the other one, Agenor, you know.
Yeah.
And then
They're different.
I believe
they're new bodies.
Yeah, and Grendel talks about it in her POV as well, when she talks about how much the Great Lord, how much time and effort it took for him to bring back Erengar when she died, right before she jumped through that hole. She started thinking about that.
Yeah, no. What I'm talking about is like when a soul is reborn and then not having or having the ability, regardless of the Dark One's interference. The only viewpoint we get of someone that has experience with that is Brigitte, where she specifically says, I remember, like, this is when she was remembering, like, this is early on when she had a lot of her past knowledge. And she specifically says, I never remember being an Aes Sedai. I never was able to channel. So that's one source of it. The general theory is that it's somehow tied to the soul. And it should be, like, that would make sense. But we don't know to what extent, obviously, like, for sure. Like, I have theories on that, but like the facts from the books and from Robert Jordan himself are it's somehow tied to the soul and it's somehow tied to genetics, but the how and the why aren't really fleshed out as much.
So I have a question.
Yeah, please, Beth.
Do we consider abilities like Min's ability in the metaphysics of it all? Or is it like it's a metaphysical manifestation of the pattern somehow, but it's not necessarily like hard magic like using the one power is, but it is some sort of manifestation of something, right?
I think
and she's not the only person to ever have that ability.
No,
because the Shan-Chan freak out when they realize what she is. They call her Doomseer, right? Doomsayer or whatever.
500 years ago, yeah.
Beth, I mean, I completely agree with that, and I think that all of these other powers, right? If let's say you're not channeling side in or side R or whatever, so the viewings,
like being able to be a dream walker, you don't have to channel to be able to access right?
Or
a sniffer
brother,
or a sniffer,
sniffer,
or
wolf brother, all of that stuff, right?
No, wolf brother can't be genetic because the wolves bestow that on somebody.
No, that's not what I'm getting at. I'm not talking about the genetic part. I'm talking about when she was saying, where does it come from? I think they're all tapping into the same thing. It just manifests in each person differently. Yeah, so some people can channel it, and some people can just it unlocks something on them, right?
That's kind of cool. I mean, that's a cool way to look at it, definitely.
Because I think that's the one thing that's kind of always bothered me when you try to reason things out, right?
Yeah.
Like,
there's only so much you can reason.
Right. But I mean, like, Min clearly has been touched by the power, has been
there's something there.
Something, right? But like, what is it a manifestation of? Because it's a different version of being able to to foretell, right? In a way.
It's tied to the to the power too, because she
Right.
can always see
Channelers.
the
And people
images
linked
around
with them.
channels, and
Right,
people-
right.
both sociologically linked and linked through the one power.
Through the one power with warders.
So
Yeah.
so she's seeing. So to her, I guess she sees the power as like a, I wouldn't say a blueprint, but maybe like a
Painting?
no, more like a diagram when you have diodes and freaking resistors and like an
Or a
electrical
recipe, or
yeah, like a electrical chart, you know, when you have a diagram of how whatever, let's say a light bulb works and all that shit. And so when she looks at people that can channel, she can see those connections, right? Because she can see how the power is linking those people. Whereas she's looking at regular people, she just sees things that might happen to them, almost like a microfiche machine, right? You know,
I mean, so should we consider Tavernus just a talent?
I think Tavarin is separate from all of that.
Yeah, because they're not always Taverin. You can, once the pattern's done with you, you're not Taverin anymore.
That's a good point. Okay, so I did want to get into talents because this is a weird part of the magic system. This is it tends to be a drag, it seems, to most people who have these talents, right?
Oh, yeah.
Min does not like her ability. Hurin does not like his ability. He's like, this place smells like shit. Must have been a fight here. Perrin does not like his ability. He has to learn to accept it. A lot of these things are impositions onto people. I guess I don't see the one power as being an imposition. Like, I mean, so let's talk.
It's like being you're at work and your supervisor comes in and says, "Hey, you're now in charge of the fucking TPS reports." You didn't want to do the goddamn TPS reports. You didn't want to put covers on those bitches. You know, you don't want it.
Not only
That's
that,
pretty much what it is.
not only that, but here's a few thousand other people that physically can't put those cover sheets on, and now you have to help
Right.
them too,
Right.
because you
Yeah.
have the ability, so
Fair.
you should use it to help these
And-
people.
And they're not giving you a fucking raise either.
Nope.
You're not getting a raise. You're not getting a
No.
title change. You're not getting nothing. Just extra work.
Maybe a casual Friday and a pizza party, but that's it.
Maybe.
You know, Tavarin, you have talents. I'm just gonna say.
Shut up. Being a pain in the ass? I excel at that talent.
How many people? Are there Sparker? Or not Wilders? People that have this can learn to sniff violence.
My honest opinion on it is they're all just plot powers. They're just plot powers. And Robert Jordan just never really explains them because, like, why not? He has built-in plot device with Tavarin, like, whenever he wants to use it. It was a genius way to for just a writing perspective.
Mhm.
Like,
It's
Well,
a free
in
for all.
Wolf
You can do
Brother-
whatever.
Yeah.
In the chapter Wolf Brother, Elias talks to Perrin and says there are other things in the world, other folk that the Aes Sedai are scared of.
I want bearkin so bad. Like, we have wolfkin. I want bearkin, please,
That would be
Or-
amazing.
or capybarakin. Just,
Capybara.
Oh, it's a diver.
They all just sit around.
Apparently, Amazon wanted Bear Brothers as well.
Yeah, I would have taken it. I would have taken it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, that would be amazing.
but this, I mean, like, when you think about it in in the sense of like the storytelling, so like, is there anything that the Wolf Brothers and the Wolves and Perrin as a Wolf Brother did that if you took the Wolfkin and the abilities of the wolves out, it couldn't have been fulfilled by another character or other things? And the answer is no. Like, I mean, the answer is yes. Like, you don't need the wolves. The wolves they're cool. Like, oh my God,
They're
he
so
can talk to wolves.
Yeah,
and
but
they're cool.
try to take the wolves away now and see what happens.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen.
Well,
Right.
Kieran was one of the only ones who could have successfully beaten Slayer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, like that's just. I mean, that's because that's how it's not. I would be more. I would more lend to that's not because he was a wolf brother, but because of his control of Tel'aran'rhiod, which he got from being a wolf brother. But we know again, like he could have just been a dreamer. Like we could have just they could have just expanded dreamers to cover more people instead of being.
Yeah, he could have. I mean, they could have plot pointed, um, Egwene to be able to fight Slayer. I
Mhm.
mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beth, are all Wolf Brothers dreamers?
they have the capacity to be.
Yes.
They have the ability to be. They can touch Tel'aran'rhiod because that's where the wolves live.
And they're
And-
true dreamers as well.
And you have,
Yeah.
and all three that we see in the books do.
Yeah.
You've got Gnome, who's living as boundless in
Yep.
Gnome might
Tel'aran'rhiod.
be the most talented, actually.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
real.
He's the
And
most
then you've
wolf-like.
got Perrin, of course. And then you've got Elias, who goes in to find Perrin, saying, "We need you."
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
know.
I mean,
I
if you
think
about
I
that,
think that. Oh, go ahead.
if you think about it, Gnome fought the entire last battle asleep, dude. Like,
He sure
dead.
just chilling.
Or
I-
he died. or he died
Tel'aran'rhiod is
and-
like the WhatsApp of Watt, right? Basically.
Well, that's
how
I
people
think-
communicate. And
Yeah,
send shit.
exactly. I was about
Wow.
to say that. I think the wolves communicate to Perrin and to others
do.
through Tel'aran'rhiod in the waking world.
100%.
That's how they sent their
That's how they
images.
communicate. Yeah, 100%. That's how I thought of it.
Remember, they said, that's what Elias said to Egwene and Perrin. They say that she's firm in this world and Perrin is half between this world and the dream world.
Which is really
Yeah.
funny considering who Egwene ends up being, right? Like,
Yeah.
but she
Yeah.
had not accessed that yet, so I guess, like, but
Yeah.
and my favorite line from the entire thing, the entire series, is when they're in Tel'aran'rhiod and Perrin says to her, and they're doing the Battle of the White Tower, and he shows up there, and she's like, "Perrin, what are you doing here? It's dangerous." And then he disintegrates Balefire, and she's like, "How did you do that?" And he says, "It's just a
Totally a
weave."
weave.
My favorite.
And that's one of the things, like the last thing she thinks of before she, gives her life to save everybody.
That's
It's
my
just a
sound
weave.
effects.
Mhm.
It's just a weave. And
Mhm.
oh my God, it resonates with me. It gets me emotional when I read it. I
Every time.
just love it so
And they prepared us
much.
for that. They prepared us for that throughout the series. When
Yeah.
it started, when Elaine decides to learn how to undo a gateway, right? Unweave a gateway, because they're just weaves. When they say weaves, they literally mean
Yeah.
it's
Well,
woven.
Avienda successfully did it right before
Yeah.
she tried it.
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. But she did it instinctually.
Yeah.
I think
And I
Yashamaya
said that
was
in
like,
chat.
"What the fuck?"
Yeah, I
What
said in
the-
the chat. Instinct is one, letting your ancestors speak to you. So it was always there. The knowledge was always there. Two, it also comes from the fact that just because you're told that something can't be done, unless you try it, you don't freaking
Yeah.
know.
I mean,
Right?
Ishmael was so crazed out on that, he killed like one of my favorite dark friends, like Madoc, the head servant in the palace.
Yep.
And then Golem ate him.
Mm.
Oh, down in Ebudar? When he
Yep.
got so mad when they were leaving
Yeah.
with the Bowl of the Winds?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
killed Madoc, who was Tylen's like head Shabayan or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, so many people died in those books.
Oh my
So
God.
many people
Yeah.
died. You know, it's
So-
funny. Tom, I'm sorry, Dan. Tom, you mentioned you were asked a question earlier. How many people could channel? And the population said about 3%. And I always, my brain always thinks military, especially with the Wheel of Time. And I don't know how accurate this is, but I've always heard that, for example, only 3% of the population of the United States in the history of the United States has actually served in the military, right? And when you look at the Wheel of Time, people that could channel are the ones that are embroiled in battle,
And you rarely see people in the military.
Yeah.
You know, at least in their uniforms. And when you
And
do,
Robert Jordan was in the military, so that makes
Yeah.
sense.
yeah, that makes
Yeah.
a lot of sense. Yeah.
Let's slide into magical items if we can.
Oh my god.
I like them.
Where
Where do
are
we
we
wanna
sliding
go
into
first?
them, or are they sliding into us?
Well,
Well-
it depends. Consent is key.
Consent.
Depends how big the bracelet is. I guess.
No, it's the fluted rod that
mean,
you have to
if
worry
we're-
about.
If we're gonna talk about that kind of stuff, just let me know.
Why are you an
No.
expert?
Not
Um,
necessarily.
Then why are you volunteering yourself? What
for
is
the late
happening?
night. It's for the after dark episode. Don't worry.
Exactly.
Or do we want to go Terangriel or Angriel Sangriel?
Yeah. All animals.
Your internet's cropping out again, Dan.
Yeah.
Good. Listen, Optimus, you had your day. You had your day in the light a couple of days ago.
Yeah, it's true. I really want to see that movie.
It's really
It's sad. It's sad that they. Yeah, it was rigged.
Jansen, do you want to go Terangriel or Sangriel Angriel?
I think well, let's start with the Sangriel since there's fewer.
Okay. Well, I mean, Angriel and Sangriel. Okay, well, here, I have a question for you then.
Okay.
So it sounds like you're separating Angriel and Sangriel.
No, let's leave those two together. and-
Okay. I was going to say, like, I always viewed them as the same thing, except
You're right.
It kinda
I
just-
think you're right. It was just
Yeah.
more, it's like a better charger.
yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
The way I always picture it for power within or ability strength in the one power was a cup essentially. Everyone has
Yeah.
a cup inside of them, and then
Yep.
because they talk about filling up with the one power, and then some people are stronger and some people are weaker. So some people's cups are bigger and some are
Someone's got
Nah.
his Yeti cup. The other one's got a freaking Dixie cup. I get you.
Exactly. Some people have this full of pomegranate juice and vodka, like I do. But the,
Nice.
hey, listen, it also keeps it ice cold. So that's,
No, those things are amazing. The growlers are freaking
Yes.
great.
I always imagined the Angriel and the Sangriel just basically making everyone's cup bigger, and then
I agree.
putting a sippy cup lid on the top because it makes sure that they can't get burnt out.
I agree.
I love it.
Yeah, like,
Sip through straw only.
It's freaking funny.
Can't spill it. Can't spill.
Like, yeah, if you tip it too far, it just stops pouring.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I think talking about Terangriel will be a lot more interesting and fun.
Yeah, I mean, Sangriel and Angriel are pretty easy. I mean, we know that it takes a very, very specific set of circumstances and a specific ability in the one power and another specific item, a specific Terangriel, in fact, to make Angriel and Sangriel. You can't,
Yeah.
making Angriel is not the same as, and Sangriel is not the same as making Terangriel. You need a Terangriel to make Sangriel and Angriel.
It's
And
like a,
for-
it's like a
So,
component of
Like, okay,
yeah.
so let's pick a category because we can pick categories and put a lot of different Terangriel in them
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah, for sure.
Jansen, real quick.
to do. Like we can
Oh.
start from ones that we didn't see a lot of, or ones that were used a lot in the books. Or we can start with the very first one that we see.
All right, before we continue, I just got to say I actually have to bounce. I
Okay.
told beforehand. So thank you for having me. I love
Thank
talking
you.
to
I'm
you guys.
glad you're safe. I'm glad
Yes,
you're
thank
safe,
you.
Tavern.
Chat,
Have a great
you
week.
guys, you're freaking
safe, man.
amazing. Smack the like button. Love these people. All right, bye everybody.
And him
Bye.
too.
Bye, Dan.
Him too.
Bye, Ted. Love you, bud.
Love you too, bud.
we were
I miss
talking about Terangriel, Brother Dan.
Yeah, let's do it. We have so Terangriel, give a quick definition. They are
Gone
Terangriel
again.
Terangriel are items that have been infused with the power and can be used by almost anybody. Well, some of them can be used by almost anybody, but they provide a function.
Right. And they're created using the power.
Yeah, they're a tool of some sort, and we see them used throughout the entire series. And the first one that we hear about in the books that nobody really thinks about, but we hear about it first, is Whitebridge, which is a Terangriel bridge, or we think it was a bridge. Some people say it's a bridge. I actually think that it was part of the Column Dawn that fell.
Okay, and it's like a piece that just happened to land there.
Yeah, I think it was just a
Okay.
piece that fell.
That would be interesting. That would be fun. Like
Yeah.
that, it makes sense for sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I never thought of it as a triangle. I always thought of it as like Quendiar or some other form of material made with the one power, or maybe even with a triangle.
Uh-huh. Well, the way it's made, you know, it can be wet. Nothing ever falls or slicks.
Yeah, it looks like glass. It's not.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like Quendiar. Yeah.
And I was like, what was that made for? You know,
Yeah, what does it do?
but definitely something. I thought it was something that had to do with building. They usually, why would you make something that big that can't be destroyed other than to make it for a foundation?
Exactly. Especially like on something so temporary as like river banks. You know, like the rivers change a lot over the course of thousands of years. I mean, just the introduction of a singular species into an area like a wolf or a beaver or a
Mhm.
deer or can change flows of rivers.
Yeah,
Right.
totally, absolutely, especially a beaver.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But and it never really serves any purpose. Like it doesn't do anything in the books, which I always thought was funny. It's just another one of those things that he kind of put in because it was like cool, and then
It was a landmark as well, and
yeah.
you know, it made, you know, it because they definitely take a lot of time. And what was it? Listen to the Wind is the first time Nynaeve talks about how she was staring at it like a gawk-eyed farm girl, and she had to not look at things like that anymore when she was around Land and Moraine. But yeah, they talk about it, and it made, you know, it was definitely, there were a bunch of other structures, you know, throughout the land that they talk about that we don't see. Well, we do see the Tower of Genji, but there's a couple. There's like supposedly a needle that if you get within a mile of, you get a headache.
Yeah.
Mm.
There's a lot of weird things, and it could be different. Like you said, it could be like components of other things that are just ruins now, and you know they're not doing what they were supposed to do because they're broken or incomplete or whatever.
Mm. Yeah, that's a
I
very
like
good
that
point.
idea.
When we have not the ways, but when they are going through, not the ways, when they go in the portal stones.
Porterstones?
Portal stones are
Interesting.
magical, but they are also magic. They you have to channel into them.
And they
You can't.
legends.
Yeah, but we're talking about using magic to go into different realms, right?
Kind of, sorta.
Yeah. We lost them again.
We lost him again.
Yeah.
Well,
Boo!
they go into different. Well, when they use the portal stone is when they go into the alternate timelines where things are kind of not the same. So that's part of it. But they do talk about being able to use the portal stones to do many different kinds of traveling, including just traveling on the
Traveling
plane.
in the same world that you're in,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's yeah.
Yeah. So
It's
I'm
like-
sure there's.
The ultimate Stargate.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. It's basically a Stargate. Yeah. I mean, I would 100% accept that. A Stargate. Yeah. I mean, like, especially because, like, we know that they were ancient to even, like, the Aes Sedai during the Age of Legends didn't know their true purpose. Like, that's something that is said.
Fear knew a decent amount.
Yeah. The idea, though, that, like, how did they get there in the first place then? Like how before they were created, or are they something that is left over from the creator, like as a way to tie the alternate timelines together? But then also, why would you do that? So there's so many unanswered questions on those that I just love to think about and toy with, because those are the fun things. Like, why is that there? Why were they made? What purpose do they serve? And how can they be used? Are the fun things. That's one of the cool. And this is a little off topic, but Dan isn't here to yell at us. One of my favorite weird things that we only hear really mentioned once in the entire series are the precepts and the people that hold people to the precepts. So like which is Brigitte talking about them. Like, you know,
Are they like the progenitors?
well, she's talking about the rules, like the rules.
Right.
that
I
the-
know.
She's
But you
talking
know, like
Oh,
the
who
people
knows?
who created the universe in Star Trek, people who
I don't know. The Qs. They're a Q.
no. We learned about them in what's it called?
Strange New Worlds, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. I liked that Star Trek.
Just
by the way. Welcome
curious.
back, Dan.
Welcome back, Dan.
Oh geez. Oh geez.
Sorry, buddy.
Right. Guys, do I seem calm right now?
Yes.
You seem very zen.
Yes. You're projecting well. And he's gone again. Oh god. He's gonna lose his voice just from screaming when he gets disconnected. I feel bad. I feel so bad. I'm trying to I keep trying to pick up with where he left off to see what he was talking about, but we didn't get anything
So
that time.
disappointed.
No.
I kind of just want to stop. Like, I mean,
Oh.
you guys go. You guys. Fuck it's so bad right now. Like,
Can you turn off your camera and still go audio and do audio only?
Yeah, turn off your camera.
See if
Yeah,
audio
I can
only
try.
works.
I mean,
I know it's not
yeah.
quite as impactful.
Look,
but
you're the disembodied voice of the creator now. There
yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Sounds
let's
good.
try this again. All right, this is so bummer. So bummer right now.
It's okay, man.
I love you guys. I'm doing
We
my
love you
internet
too.
speed test, and it's like not. It's like
Technical difficulties happen. It's okay.
4%. All right.
It would.
So I did have a little question about like about the creation of these items,
Okay.
and how the pattern. I guess how because not every Angreal is or Sangreal or whatever is for.
Aw. Sorry, buddy.
What's the guy's name who made all the awesome Tungra on the Age 11? Something Corbison?
Yeah, something Corbison. They mention it like once or twice in the last book.
Yeah.
The
Corbison.
the idea of the crafting of the Terangrial and the Sangreal being so much more complicated than we really think it is. Like when the Forsaken start talking about like how they're trying to make them and how they can't, and like they kind of allude to like, don't they think if like you could make Terangrial as easy as they think that they can, like we would have been doing that already?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, out of all the Terangrial, at least because they find so much and there's so many caches here and there.
Yeah.
I think the one that Avienda and the one that Elaine finds is the most interesting. Because when her and Avienda go to Camelin and they get to sit down and the maids are doing their hair and everything and going through it. It's a really, actually, I love that chapter. That's a really good chapter.
Yeah.
They find we've been calling it the internet or whatever. They find that book.
The library man.
Yeah, the library man. But they also find a talisman of growing and a couple of other things that are awesome. And they allude to, and I think about how Robert Jordan crafted this with all of the items that are there and all of the items that he had that weren't even used. Like it's crafted very well for sequel, for
Yeah.
it's so crafted for a sequel and for a prequel even. Well, they're in the process of creating prequels right now, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Red Eagle. They
Yeah.
can keep it.
Either.
I'll believe they're actually going to do something when I see it happen.
Yeah.
Like it's actually out and done.
Yeah, here's the thing, like with the Red Eagle. So, they put out their comic book. There's a Red Eagle comic book about the Wheel of Time. I have. And then there's the other one. I have both. And and this is actually, I can't even believe I brought this up because it's a bane of my existence. I have the entire Eye of the World comic book, all great, all in mint, except for one book that I can't find.
Which one?
Number 3 with Tom Maryland juggling on it. It's the only one I don't have.
I'll see if I have it.
It's the bane of my existence. Yeah.
I'll let you know if I have it and if I have an extra one.
Please. Yeah, let me know. That will complete. Dan's actually seen it. I have them all.
Yeah.
But the Red Eagle one is very different than the other one, and it's very different. But I don't know. Yeah, like you said, I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Red Eagle because they sued Harriet, but that's and the other things that happened with it. But that's a panel for another time.
Yeah. I'm actually looking forward to animated. I like the origins that they did, and I would love to see more. Like, give me Avatar: Wheel of Time, and I'm good. Yeah.
I mean, I really loved the art behind the origins, but we're talking about the power in Terangrial.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Exactly.
Especially while we have you here.
Yeah,
So,
no.
what do you guys think of this? Do you think Semestra was a walking Terangria?
Yes, I think he was. At the very least, like I could 100% get behind that. He was just a semi-sentient or even like an advanced AI Terangrial.
What about the Golem?
Same
But
thing.
I thought a construct is different. That they actually infused the souls of people with
used human souls to make.
it's not
Slameshta though.
Not Semestra, but the Golem.
The Golem, yes, they did.
Well, no,
and
because
they used the
Semesta's
true power.
Well, we did a whole podcast episode about that, and Koala and Dana Lou were, and so was Shoddy, were adamant about it being, like the ethicalness of using a human soul to do that, to form him, for the purposes of the light, but they still did it.
I am like, there's unless I'm forgetting something, there's no comfort. There's nothing specifically that says that they use the human soul for that. But he is the only other version of a sentient construct that we see is a golem, and we still don't know if they used the human soul for that.
Well, they made 6, and they do call
But
them.
isn't the whole purpose of a construct that it was created using a human soul?
No.
I mean, Rand talks about Agenor, and I believe I can even quote him. I think he said everyone thought that Agenor was just crazy when about his instruments. Then the Dark Front, then the Shadow Spawn came, and he said that Agenor always wondered about the Shadow Spawn if they were reborn or anything like that.
I just remembered something.
Human.
I agree. No, you're 100% right. You just triggered a memory in my head. Robert Jordan did specifically say that Trollocs and Nim both have souls and can be reborn.
Yes.
Or at least I remember him saying that they can be
That's
reborn.
what we talked about in our podcast episode. It was about the ethical ramifications of people who are Aes Sedai tapping into the Well of Souls to get a human. And because once you're a Trolloc, you're always a Trolloc, right?
Yeah.
Like you're a twisted one.
Maybe like there is, I mean, like in the Age of Legends, I doubt they would, though they did say that they didn't do things that were, if the human soul is willing, obviously, but like what's willing?
Right. Sure.
What does willing mean? Like if I took someone who's lived in abject poverty their entire life and was like, hey, if you sacrifice your soul, you could be this really powerful creature, but you just have to feed everyone forever and you just have to stay over there. Some people may be willing to do that, but are they really willing to do? Are they just trying to get out of a bad circumstance? And
I would have.
Yeah,
I'd be a Nim. In a
they are pretty awesome. They are pretty fucked up. Not gonna lie.
I broke 4 feet. Oh man.
Oh yeah, yeah. But the idea of them being reborn again afterwards is what I remembered specifically. And he said, I remember him saying something like a Trolloc and a Nym could both be reborn, but they wouldn't be reborn as a Trolloc or a Nym because that was something that was done to their soul afterwards or something like that.
Okay.
So
that
like,
makes
I mean,
sense.
it's like, so maybe, you know, if you were a king like Layman and you were really cruel, you were the pattern demands balance. So now you're really born as a Trolloc. You know?
Or do they? Well, you know, Trollocs are born in the world. Like they're not just made; they are born too. So like that's another interesting like dichotomy between like the soul and it being spun out for a purpose, like with humans, and then also the genetics of a Trolloc being, you know, used for, you know, coming together and making another Trolloc, just, you know, through biology. So they have weird rules that they follow. That's another interesting thought. I didn't think about putting them together like that. But yeah, the Trollocs and the Nym and all of them are constructs. The only thing that would be very different would be and therefore I could be considered terangrial. The only thing that I think wouldn't fall under that category would be the gray man, and that's because they're just human bodies that have their souls taken out of them. And they maintain their
like the golem might even be more human than the Trollocs, because the golem could walk through the Waygate door.
Oh yeah. That's
you know,
true.
Yeah.
Can gray men walk through the Waygate door? I don't remember.
Yes, they could get dropped anywhere. Like they, you know.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're right. I remember now. Yep. So it has some tie to humanity and the soul, even if it's not there technically.
Yeah.
But then there's some tie to the genetics of humanity because Trollocs can't go through it, but they also have souls. So it's the rules are a little confusing. I'm not saying they're off, but like there's another aspect that we're not seeing, I think, for that. I definitely agree, though. I think the Nym and even Trollocs, for that matter, could be considered terangrial in a sense. But I would say the Nym more because they perform actual tasks, where the Trollocs, I mean, like technically, yeah, you tell the Trolloc to do something and it does a task. But
like the builders who make the forgers who forge the Fade's swords. They're like
as well. The forgers,
the Thakandar blades,
the forgers do nothing. They don't have any conscious. They don't have wants or desires. They make blades. That's it. And there's only like 8 of them or something, or 12 of them or something like that, right?
Yeah, they all just look the same.
Yeah. Where the golem all look different, but they all look like good-looking men and women.
Yeah, there's 3. They made 3 of each.
Yeah, or 4. 3 or 4. I don't remember.
It was 6. Was it
6? Okay.
It was 6.
Numbers and me don't get along, so.
Yeah.
The tied to the Nym also in the sense of how in the Age of Legends they controlled the weather. And I mean, the food and the weather would be the Bowl of Winds. Like we know the Bowl of Winds is just a singular leftover terangrial from the Age of Legends. Like there used to be, I would say theoretically, probably many Bowls of Winds where they had them positioned around the world so that they can control the weather.
Well, there is another one in Tarvalin right now.
Yeah, there you go. So the like that was just another aspect of the Age of Legends Aes Sedai trying to control their environment, making it better for themselves and, you know, life in general. But I go back to the thing where Lews Therin said, like, maybe we weren't as benevolent as we thought we were with the things that we were doing. You know, like now that I think about it, I can say that we weren't all good. And it probably ties to like what you were talking about on the podcast, Beth.
Yeah.
With, like the use of human souls? Like, how did they get them? How did they procure them? Were they people that were in comas? Were they people that were born with disabilities that were vegetables? Like, you know, like, or were they criminals, or so on and so forth? Do the
Right.
Nim maintain the personality of the soul that they are imbued with? Like, there's so many questions there.
Right.
I always viewed them as Swamp Thing,
Yeah.
by the way. Basically just Swamp Thing walking around, a bunch of
And
them.
then there's detached head.
I am going to have to go very soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we're
at 90 minutes,
Yeah,
so-
we're nearing the end, and I feel bad for brother Dan.
Yeah.
Jensen, do you have the UI in StreamYard? Can you click on stuff?
Right now I cannot. I'm using my phone.
I've never
Okay.
gotten access to
Yeah.
admin rights on StreamYard, so I can't either.
Yeah, we can't end until Dan gets back because he can't click end stream, and I don't want to just leave it sitting here with no one here. So I'll hang out as late as we can. I'll just talk to chat. I don't care. But if you guys got to go, you got to go. I get it.
Right on.
Wonderful.
Rest of the day.
Oh, you got to go now. Okay.
I do.
All right.
My family.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, love you guys. I'll see
I
you
love
guys.
Love you too, Jensen. Have a good one.
Have a good night, man.
Bye.
So, do you have a favorite chat too? If anyone wants to shout out, do you have a favorite Terangrial that we've seen in the books?
Y'all, Dan is in the stream with audio only. Brother Dan, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yay! You sound great now.
No, this is the worst. I hate it. I hate it.
So do we just want to end things?
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
do it. Let me try and jump on screen. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm not, because I see my internet is shit. So thank you for joining us, Tom. What's going on with Dragonmount?
We will be watching Clue tomorrow as our If you want to come, Beth, you're more than
I
welcome.
can't. I'm screaming.
Okay.
Damn it, I
well,
wish I would have known ahead of time.
We've been watching movies in between our new shows, and this time we're going to be watching Clue because I forgot why. I think we were talking about it at some point when we were watching Fallout, which is why I have my helmet here, and someone was like, "I've never seen that," and we're like, "Are you kidding me? Like, are you kidding me?"
It's like one of the best movies ever
Love
made.
that
I don't
movie.
care what anybody says. It's freaking brilliant.
Fucking love that movie. And it's also like a lot of people say they when they think of Tim Curry, they think of Rocky Horror, which don't get me wrong, I do, and I love Rocky Horror, but my
right
first-
up there with it is Clue, man.
my
Quintessential
first-
1985? Did that movie come out in 85?
85, 88, 80. I might be confusing it with because we did before that we did Beetlejuice, and it was also 80 something. I don't remember. I wrote it on the thing. It's on
did Clue come out?
it's on our if you go to the Dragonmount YouTube page, it's like listed as a live that's coming up, and I believe it says
1985. Thank you very much.
okay, yeah, it says real night Clue 1985. Okay. So, yeah, we're going to be watching that. And London River, speaking of the devil that we mentioned earlier, she will be joining us for that.
Fabulous.
Yeah, she's going to come and hang out, and other guests may pop in and out from time to time randomly throughout the night.
Clue has various endings, correct?
Yeah, that they're one of they did like I think they said they originally had like 3 or 4 competing ideas, and they were like, let's just do them all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
I love that movie so much. It's a lot of fun.
Are you doing all 3 endings?
Oh yeah, we're doing the whole movie, absolutely. And during the stream, we'll announce our next TV show, which will be starting the following week.
Fabulous. I love that.
I was at a weekend cabin with my family, and we played Clue yesterday.
Yay!
Love
that's
it.
fun.
It's
Love it.
a good game. All right, thank you, everyone. Oh, Beth.
What's Beth playing?
Yeah,
Beth,
yeah,
what are you playing?
Beth,
other than
yeah,
other than Overwatch, as per always.
So I've changed my stream schedule. I no longer stream on Sunday nights. I added 2 morning streams to my schedule before I start work during the week. Wednesday night, I might dip my toe into Dead by Daylight because it is Halloween. Horror games are being requested. We'll see. But really, the next big thing that's coming up that I'm really excited for is Dragon Age Veilguard, and that's coming out on Halloween. And I'll be streaming the heck out of that. So, and we're supposed to, I think we're dropping a new episode of our podcast tomorrow.
Nice.
And what else is going on? That's it. That's it.
They could follow your TikToks like I
You
do.
can follow my TikToks. I don't really do Wheel of Time content on TikTok. Sometimes I do, very rarely these days, until the show comes back out, probably not really so much. But and everybody, if you like audiobooks, Rosamund Pike's
So
narration of Shadow Rising has been out for a couple of weeks now, and you should totally pick it up because it is like, I love Michael Kramer and Kate Redding. Don't get me
Oh,
wrong, but
it's different. It's like
different.
it's a different, like if you're a rereader, which if you're a Wheel of Time fan, like I don't think I've ever met one that isn't.
Right.
It's like rereading the books, but you're getting it like almost like a different perspective. And
it's almost like a 1940s radio broadcast of stuff before they had television. That's what Rosamund Pike's narration reminds me of. Whereas like Michael Kramer and Kate Redding are doing a really good reading of it. She's performing it. It's performative for her. So anyway, yeah.
I can see that.
I have noticed Twitch has been dinging me pretty early in the morning, so I've noticed.
Yeah, I started streaming at like 5:30 in the mornings on Wednesdays and Fridays. It's great exposure. It's just less saturation in the space, and the games go better, so my mood is better, and
less jump scares.
So and I'm off from work tomorrow, so I'll be streaming at some point tomorrow during the day.
Indigenous
No, there's still
Peoples
jump
Day.
scares. It's Indigenous Peoples Day tomorrow. I refuse to call it by its official name. I will call it Indigenous Peoples Day, and I work for a bank, so I get the day off.
Yes, my wife does too. That's why I remembered.
Exactly. So anyway.
And what about you, Dan? What chapter are you guys on Tuesday? Oh, he's not there. I will tell them what chapter they're on Tuesday because I have the Way of the Leaf open on my page, so I can say what it is if they listed it. Because
I'm done fighting internet monsters. So I love you both. I love the stream, and I love everyone watching. Thank you very much. We'll see you next week. I'll be doing it alone on Tuesday, talking about the Gathering Storm with our first time readers, 1 through 5. So. Yeah, this is Anderson's version of George.
Bye guys, love you, mean it.
Love you all. Take care and feel guys because this is the Way of the Leaf.
Mwah.